morning. Tom Ginn here. G-Force Friday. I'm so grateful for this day, this moment. Gratitude is a very powerful viral principle to guide and help you in life. When you really study the power of gratitude, what it does with you physically, emotionally, psychologically, when we understand the real power of gratitude, these are the principles I teach in my coaching program. It changes everything, your perspective. It negates negativity, gives you different perspectives. It helps you deal with things that are uncomfortable. It helps you deal with losses, whether it be a personal loss or something that you've lost in life that is so important to you. And so gratitude, a very powerful concept when you really study it. I always like to, kick this off with this, that the world record of gratitude statements is 18,256 consecutive days, and never replicating or duplicating any gratitude statement. And we would ask this: do you think that individual that has that discipline and recognizes gratitude at a much higher level has a different life than the person that doesn't write their gratitude? That is 50 years. Never missed a day, never replicated, recognizing the power of gratitude in that person's life. So that came out of the book, Gratitude Works. So I encourage anybody that wants to learn more about gratitude. That is the most powerful book I've studied in the relationship on gratitude, from a spiritual concepts to the physiologically, the science behind it, all the things. It is a very powerful book to understand. Good morning. We got some people coming in. I just want to recognize. Good morning, Mr. Gassert. I hope you're having a wonderful vacation. Look forward to hearing about that. Thanks for jumping on this morning. But without any further ado, I want to bring in my guest. I met this beautiful woman here recently through the Grow Live Academy. And in our the week before last, in one of our workshops with Ken Walls, there was a lot of dialogue, and we connected, and we had some conversation last week. And I says, I'd love to have you on my program, just because of one thing that you said that I know it's going to make a difference in somebody's life. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest this morning, Patricia Watson.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yes, it is. Happy Friday. Good morning, Patricia. Thanks for being here this morning. And I know you're new to the Grow Live Academy, and this is probably the biggest growth challenge that we all go through when we start streaming. Is getting through the fear, the apprehension, all the doubts, and the things that go on in our little minds, right?
Right.
That are just made up, that we make up. But it's an honor to have you here. I'm excited for you. I know that we had some conversation about, the apprehensions and all those things. So you are looking fantastic. You got a great smile. And I think that is a connector with anybody out there, is the smile. So, but I would like to do is just share with me a little bit about yourself, Patricia. Where are you from? Anything about your family, what you do in life, some of the things that just about you. And then I got some questions I want to ask you as well. So.
Okay, sure. Perfect. Thank you, first of all, for having me. It's really, that in and of itself is a blessing and something to be grateful for, right? How many times do you just connect with someone on the fly, and then, 3 days later, they ask you to be a guest on the G-Force show? And gratitude is something that I take very seriously, because the power of that and what it can do to change your life and just the mindset on a daily basis, if you just take the time to listen. So thank you for that. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here. So I appreciate that. So I grew up in the good old Midwest, in a very small town. I think at the time when I was growing up, maybe it had 301 people in the entire town. So very, very, very small. But a great community, a great place to, to raise family, very agricultural. What I loved about that community is that, everybody helped each other because, there wasn't any type of disconnection. You just helped people. And that's what it's all about, is helping each other grow. Right. So I really appreciate the values of that small town community and the culture of that. So that was a great blessing. And so I graduated from there. And then after, you graduate from high school, you wonder, what are you going to do? So I got into, my first job was at a bank, and I stayed there for 9.5 years, and great career, great experience. And I then navigated I basically stayed into the financial services world, just a different area. So switched into the insurance industry, did group business for a while, then went into the life insurance, Medicare, and that type of thing. I chose that, or it chose me, because I love helping people, and you're a financial coach, so you know that people just don't know what they don't know. So being able to provide resources and education to them, so whether they did anything or not, they cannot say that they don't know, which is something they should be grateful for if they were really, paying attention. But again, it goes back to, gratitude. What does that really look like? Is it always just the fancy cars or what you have in the bank? No, it's more to that. It's maybe, I'm so glad that I have that education, that somebody stopped by and gave me that pamphlet or whatever. Be grateful for that. It could change your life. So got into that industry, and then, life happened, and I had a bit of a challenge there, health-wise, and the trajectory of my whole life changed. And so that in and of itself took me to another level of what it means to be grateful and appreciate the things in life. I always felt like that I was a positive person. People came to me for that enlightenment, that encouragement. Go see Patricia. She'll always makes you feel better. And no matter how I was feeling, sometimes like, I don't have anything to give, but I'm glad you got what you needed. Right. But I also learned that's one of my gifts. So you embrace that over time. And now that it took me a while to evolve and understand just what that meant. But when I had the health challenge, it completely changed my life. And I don't typically, Tom, just talk about that story because that's not my story. I don't live in the victimhood of, oh my gosh, I had cancer. Oh my God, I had a stroke. Oh my God, I had this. Oh my God, I had that. However, if I can use it as a teaching moment for someone to look within themselves and say, oh, wow, maybe it's not that bad. Oh, wow, I can sit in this chair right now. Oh, wow, I can look at Tom right now. Oh, wow, I can look at that or hear that powerful intro video, right? You don't stop and think about those things. So I don't share the story because it's a story to stay in victimhood, but I share the story at the times that I need it if it can help somebody elevate their lives or to give them a different perspective, to be here in this present moment. We're here, but are we hearing, right? There's a difference. You're here, but are you hearing? Are you listening? Are you being still? So those are powerful things. So that's just a little bit about myself. I love what I do. I love people is my business. I've always been a connector. I love helping people any way that I possibly can. But more importantly, what I've learned over the last decade, and particularly in the last year, is that encouraging people and being there for people and being that person is everything. And I'm grateful for that because it took me a while to understand that that was one of my gifts. And that's something that I have to be grateful for versus even myself. I hold my own self accountable too. Sometimes it can be draining. You have to identify the energy vampires and people that are just draining you because they're just takers, right? However, in that space, though, I have to recognize, how can I help them? How can I be of service to them? How can I show them by my own actions and doing my due diligence what it means to be grateful? You can look at me And a lot of people do, and they're like, oh, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. You don't know my story. Never judge a book by its story. However, what does sick look like? What does it look like, right? Do you have to be down in the dumps and, oh my God? You can. It's not going to serve you very well. But having that power and having in your heart that gratitude of, okay, I don't like this situation, but I'm going to get up. I'm going to put my face on. I'm going to put a colorful shirt on, whatever motivates you to trick your mind into, or not trick it, but just reverse your mindset of, yes, this situation isn't the best situation, but I'm able to get in this car. I'm able to see the highway. I'm able to get off on this exit. I'm able to open up this door, and I'm able to go in and say, hi, this is Patricia Watson. I'm here for my appointment.
You know, what you're saying is so important for people to hear, is that, many times we think our situations are the worst things that in the world until you hear somebody else's story, or you may have a similar story, and in your perspective, the one word that you may say can make a difference in somebody's life. I think you mentioned that a little bit ago, is that pamphlet. It could change your life. And be in a space of gratitude. I love the principles givers gain. I believe that we are here on this physical earth to serve, and finding our gifts and our to make a difference in people's life. But I always like to ask this question: in how you operate, how you think, and your persona, and all the great vibrations that I have. Who are some of the people that influenced you? Because we learn these behaviors, some of them innate within us and they come out naturally, but it's just through our environments and people and influence. What are some of the things that have influenced you? People, coaches, mentors, whatever it is. What are some of the things that have got you to where you're at, that influencing in a positive way? Who are some of those resources?
Sure. And that's a great question. And I will say because I don't want to miss anyone, there's been a lot of people that have influenced my life. So I just want to put that gratitude out there. There's too many to mention. Yeah. However, each one of them had a unique gift that at that particular time, wherever I was in my life, that they were the catalyst that took me to that next level. Right. I remember when I first got into sales years ago, and I was in in the microbiology world, and everyone wanted to be on this guy's team. I mean, he was just a master. The guy was amazing, but he was a bit intimidating. And it's like you knew that his team was not a big team, but it was a massive team from a production, from a culture, from a mindset standpoint. And you just wanted to be that his energy. I mean, just when he walked, he just had that success, and he was really, when I first started, he really set me on a good path, because I knew what good leadership was. I knew what compassion was, because he was a good leader. He was tough. He was stern, but he cared about people. And he always said, you chase the people, the money will come. But more importantly, if you're not grateful for where you're at and you're not grateful for this opportunity, you don't need to be here and you will not be allowed on my team. But more importantly, if you learn these principles, guess what? Everything else will fall into place. So having that from the very beginning, and he gave an example. At one point, he told me to look out at the sky. He had this big, beautiful office. I mean, it was his whole purpose was building troops, because he wanted to leave his legacy. We were his legacy, right? So look at the power of that. He's like, I am so grateful that I have a team of people now, that it doesn't matter how high I go, because I have higher aspirations. I know when I leave, I have me there, my culture, my mindset that I have instilled in them. Gratitude was a big thing. He brought me into his office because I had a commission check and I wasn't for sure that was the right amount. It wasn't a good day for me, because he said if he had to have that conversation again, because I wasn't grateful for the work that I didn't understand the comp plan, that you didn't need to be on my team. So he brought me in his office, beautiful office, and he told me to look out at the sky. So I looked out at the sky. He's like, what do you see? Where does it end?
Mm.
Where does it end? So there isn't any competition in terms of your goals aren't someone else's goals, but more importantly, your gratitude is unending, because as far as you can see, doesn't matter where at you go in this office, it's unending. It never ends. And you need to have that same perspective. So, at the time, I was younger, a lot younger, obviously. I didn't really realize the impact of that. But then when my life changed and had the whole health challenge, I started reminiscing about different things, different people, different conversations that I had. And that came to me and hit me like a rock, right? It was like, oh my gosh, now I truly understand what he meant, because now I'm in this hospital bed and I'm looking out, and what do you see? It's unending.
Exactly.
It's unending.
That is a great lesson, and reflecting back on how it really put a solid seed that has grown in you, to recognize that. And that's one of the things we can't comprehend infinite supply. Our Creator has given us tremendous amount of infinite amount of love, infinite resources. Everything is infinite supply. We can't comprehend it. We have limiting beliefs. And I like always, and when I do my coaching, what did Christ mean when he says, you can do greater things than I? Mm-hmm. He was just opening the door that I am just the gateway to infinite love, infinite power, all the things that we seek. So, so who else might have been a great influence for you?
Gosh, there's just, it just from a professional standpoint, there's been so many people throughout the course of my career that have just been massive influences in my life. The common denominator has always been be grateful, so it's really interesting that that's been the common denominator, but we kind of take it for granted and just loosely continue just to go through life and not really stop. So again, without wanting to miss anyone, there's just been so many. And I think, at different phases of your life, like with Herb, after I left that industry, got into the insurance industry. I mean, there's just each path, each level of where we go to, right? There's new people. You're now an influencer in my life, right? Because I've learned from you just in our brief conversation. So I think that, to tie it down to just one person, I think as we evolve in our life and as we go through our day-to-day activities and we meet people, if we're open to having someone and be open to receive, we don't always have to be in a place or, ego has been really something here of late that I have really been pursuing the study of that, because ego is a very powerful thing and can be a delusional effect when it comes to gratitude, right? It's a fine line between wanting to be out there, but no, we have to be grateful for that, right? Yes, we are this persona, but who are we really, right? When it's time to show up. So
you said something very important. I think a lot of people here, and me being a personal development, I've got some great mentors and they've influenced me, and just learning. And this is a growth. It's a journey in life, just trying to become better understanding yourself. But you said ego. So one of the things that was brought to me by a mentor sort of slapped me inside of the head about my ego. It's and that caused me to start researching and finding out how ego's it only has two sides. It's either creative or destructive. And when you understand those two sides of ego, then you can evaluate how to operate in life. But we need an ego. I mean, everybody has an ego, but we have to analyze, is it destructive? Now, or are we destroying other people around us? Or are we destroying ourselves as well? Or are we creating, using that ego, that power that we all have, in a way that is beneficial? So I'm glad you brought that up, because it just helps our conversation. And ego is either creative or destructive. And I just encourage anybody that wants to know more about that, reach out to me, because I'm a good example of how ego was destroying me personally and impacting people around me. So you brought some really great points up. Are you sure you're not just, maybe you're telling us a little story here. I sound like you're more like a personal development coach. Your story is great. You may want to reconsider what you're doing. You're powerful. You're powerful.
Well, I appreciate that. My ego, it used to annoy me when people would, oh, Patricia, I know that you'll know the answer. I'm like, oh my God, can you figure it out for yourself? I mean, who am I? I'm trying to find out who I am myself. But now looking back, I'm like, those were really opportunities that I took for granted because I didn't know what I didn't know at the time. But to be grateful that they saw enough in me to trust me, to be comfortable with me, to share. And sometimes, Tom, some things I don't want. There was so much information. It's like, oh, okay, that was a lot. You know me like 5 minutes, and you've just given me all of this. However, now I see that as, wow, what if I was that one person that made that difference because they were able to share, that they didn't harm themselves, they didn't harm other people, or just gave them hope for the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Just hope for that one moment. But my ego, and I was younger, but as I've grown and matured, obviously I have an appreciation for that now. Now in this space that I'm in, I really see it as a gift to be able to be there for people. My intuition is a lot more clear now too, so I can, decipher who's just, who wants to do the work and who doesn't, and you can give them their information and then move on. However, that's a gift. That's something to be grateful for. So now I appreciate that I had the opportunity to do that, whether at that time I knew what I was doing or not. Now I do, and I look back, and I don't want to miss those opportunities going forward, because we don't know where people are at. Don't judge a book by their cover. People can dress up and smile, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. What you're just saying there is, it's trying to leave people in a better place than you encountered them. And that could be just with a little smile, a look in the eye. That's something that because people have their own issues, have their own challenges, and that one kind word could be the difference. So with that all said, I didn't have my phone off, so that I apologize here. So that's one of the things we learn. You grow up, make sure you don't have distractions coming up. But I think just your presence is, that smile, that glow, your radiance, your body language, all those things impact people, and we don't realize it. But if we're scowling, we're also impacting the world as well. So I always try to, leave people in a better place.
Yeah.
Leave them with one comment that can make their day. Because, in reality, if we understand this principle, it's sort of, we're having some dialogue here, but I'm also teaching a little bit, hopefully out in the audience as well, is when we understand, us as human beings, there's three things we see. Do you see me? Do you hear me? And do you care? That's Maslow. And we need it. And if we can give those principles back, the world changes. This is how we change the world. We look at all this craziness is going out, the negativity and pitting one against the other. But if we just understand we're all seeking the same thing.
Right.
And get out of the issues and just get into the heart and get into the space of, I care about you. I hear you. I see you. And I do care. But that's a demonstration as well. So
right.
You brought up some really great things. I brought up your mantra here. I'd like you to, when you shared that with me when we first talked, share with me a little bit of story around that. Your interpretation, how you lived that principle there as well.
Yeah, I've always, like I said, I love positivity. I always love, mantras, whatever. And as you go through life, your experiences change you, right? And what we do with those experiences. We can move forward in those experiences and make it a better experience for ourselves, or we can, stay in the state of victimhood. I choose the latter. So in the pursuit this last year, I have really been focused on my development as a human being. What is my real purpose, right? You can have all the mentors, read all of the books, write all the mantras. I love to journal. I have lots of journals, right? But if you're not going to do the work and really stop, be present, be here so that you can hear, right? And look at yourself. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? I mean, at some point, you just have to have a come to Jesus conversation with yourself and be honest. And if not, shut up, because you're wasting time if you're not going to literally, people always say, I want you to show me or tell me the truth. Well, I always would stop and, of course, from my career, everyone, they're like, oh, everybody knows what JK means in my world. Because if somebody says, I want to know, do you want to know? Or are you JK? JK is just kidding. They don't mean to be just kidding, but they are, because that really takes a person to a place. And depending on what your life experiences are, right? Some of those places can be very dark, right? If you don't have any type of support to help you through that. So yeah, it may sound good. Oh yeah, Tom, yes, I want to know, show me, right? But do you really want to be shown? Because if it's going to be a trigger and then you're going to be mad, even though you're the one that asked for that question, I'm going to give you that answer, right? So you have to have, or I have to have, and I had to have that same conversation with myself. Do I really want to know? Do I really want to do the work? Do I really want these answers? Because I know if I start down that path, first of all, I never start something and not finish it. That's just not a good look, period. But it's not even in my DNA to do. So I knew if I was going to start that journey, I didn't know where it was going to take me, but I know I had to go all the way. So I started that pursuit of show me. And what do I really want to know? And I reached out. And so this last 6 months, particularly these last 90 plus days, have been a quantum leap in my own development of who I am as a person and what it is that I'm really looking for, what it is that my true heart's desire is. And I'm not talking about materialistic things. I'm talking about the soul's purpose. What is it that what impact are you really going to leave on this world, on people, for humanity? So in that, this, I'm a big believer in meditation, right? I am religious in that meditation. When I do my meditation, I have my intentions of what I'm looking for. Sometimes what you go in for is not what you come out with. Right. But when you're being still, you're being present, and you're wanting to hear, it will be revealed to you. You may not like it all the time. So in that pursuit is when this came to me, and it was as clear as day. Show me. Well, that's what I've been writing in my journal. Oh yeah. I want the truth. I want to know what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you really? Yes, show me. So we went through a process of that, right? During what I call my ceremonies, meditation, whatever, prayer. It's my time that I'm looking to enhance what I'm supposed to do on a spiritual path. And things were shown to me, right? But then, okay, now they're shown. What are you going to do? And finally, during one of my ceremonies, I just started writing, and this is what came to me. Show me. I am open. I am ready. I am free. Thank you, God. That was very powerful for me, because at that point, I finally reached a place where I was ready to be shown, because what is it if you're not going to do what you say that you're going to do for yourself, right? For that pursuit. But you have to be open too. And at that moment, I was finally truly open, not just saying these words, right? I get emotional because this is very powerful for me. I am open. You have to be open. You have to be open to, if you really want the truth and you're saying you want to show me, whether that message comes from you, whether that message comes from a stranger, it doesn't matter. You want to be shown. So when it comes, be open to that, right? Be open to that. Let that resonate. Be in that present moment. You're here to hear, right? And then are you ready though? So I had to ask myself these questions. So these are questions that I'm asking myself for my pursuit of that path, wherever that path is going to take me. I am ready. Are you really ready? You say you are, or are you just kidding? I had to give my language that I would give to other people. I had to ask myself that while I'm sitting there in ceremony, right? So are you really ready? Yes, I am. No, you're not. So let's dig deep some more. You have more work to do. So that's where you have to be honest with yourself and go in. You have to go in to come out, right? So show me, I am open, I am ready. When I finally got to that point where I am ready and meant it, then freedom came. It was game over.
Wow.
It was game over. I remember when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I am free.
Yeah.
And meant it. What does freedom mean? Right? I am free. Thank you, God. God, universe, source, whatever, not getting into, but for me, show me, I am open, I am ready, I am free. Thank you, God. But it's not just a mantra. Each one of those is powerful because sometimes I had to sit with each one of those before I got to that next one, right? So yes, they gave me that mantra. However, each step is a step. So do you really want to be shown? You have to sit with that until you are truly in a position mentally that you want to be shown, whatever that is. And sometimes it's not pretty.
No.
But do you really want to be shown, or are you just kidding, right? Then you have to be open. I had to be open. So that next step, guess what? I had to sit with that for a minute. Things came up. I journaled. You just write things down, even if it doesn't make any sense, right? It will present itself at a later time if you're open because you want it to be shown. And then you have to be in a place of being ready, right? What does being ready mean? We get ready to go someplace. And we're always in a hustle and bustle. Oh, I got to get ready. I got to put on this. I got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's superficial at some point because you're just in a hustle. Yeah. And you're not really getting ready. And then you go someplace and then you don't even enjoy it. You're not even grateful that you're there. You've missed all of these opportunities to express gratitude, not only for yourself, but for the opportunity to go someplace, to be ready, right? So we miss out, and I'm talking about myself, I'm saying we, but I have missed out on things because this is the lesson that has been the catalyst for me to propel forward. So then once you're ready, truly ready, then that's when freedom comes. And there's nothing like it.
When you were sharing, as you're sharing, I'm just getting tears in my eyes as well, because I've gone through this experience, not in these words, but the same processes, that self-realization and letting your ego go, be open, be honest with yourself, no matter what that picture looks like. And I was immediately relating to my story and how I've grown. I would hire you as a coach. I seriously, just what you're sharing with me is just reinforces that, what I've been studying and grown through. So you're bringing some very, very poignant and eloquent message with what you're saying. So just want to reinforce that with you.
And I appreciate that because it's been a game changer for me. And, once you experience that freedom, whatever your spiritual connection is, whoever that is, you still have to say thank you. Whether it's to God, source, universe, whatever. Okay, take that out of the equation. Still be grateful and say thank you. Because yes, the process may not have been easy, right? But the fact that you can go into your meditation, your ceremony, and be shown these things, and then for even yourself to be open to do that, you have to be grateful for that. You have to honor yourself and give yourself that attitude of gratitude of, wow, look at me. Look what I did, right?
Thank you, God. The gratitude. It is such a powerful. It is the glue that holds everything together. It just eliminates. I believe gratitude just knocks down all the barriers that we perceive are holding us back, or our growth, and that. And some things at circumstances like we don't have control of. But what can we gain from it? How can I become better to deal with illness, like you were sharing your story? The gratitude now that you can hold a pen that you couldn't do in that journey that you went through. I believe those things, instead of what can I learn from it, it's not, oh, poor me, victim.
Right.
Life is life.
Life is life.
Life is life, and all sorts of things come into our lives. It's just I believe through gratitude, how we deal with it.
Absolutely.
You're either going to be reacting in a negative way, or we're responding in a positive. Responding is the dealing with it in a very positive thing. So, when you shared your mantra with me, I knew your heart, man. I knew where you were coming from. I can see it in how you talk, and you are a picture of those words. I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's really interesting because, when I look back during that time when I was ill, I had a lot of stuff going on, right? And at the time, I didn't go when I was in Rochester, Minnesota at Mayo Clinic for 10 and a half months. I didn't go there for the cancer. They found it after I was there. I went there for something completely different, right? But here's one of the things that was really mind-blowing to me, right? For myself, even at that time and in that state. I had a lot of stuff going on, had a lot of different procedures and stuff that were on the book. So it was almost like an itinerary. It was ridiculous. But because there had been so many surgeries at the time, you had to do rehab. So I was in this, I'm not a group person when it comes to rehab stuff, if it's the wrong environment, because most people just complain, and this is what happened. So I had several mini strokes. Okay. And as a result of that, which is why the pen is so important to me. People think I'm fidgeting. I'm not fidgeting. It's a reminder to me that, wow, I can do this now. When I used to do this a lot. I don't do it so much anymore, but because there was a spot here where I couldn't feel, right? So I can feel that now. So my gratitude every time, it doesn't matter. I don't have to touch my face. I can touch my phone. I can touch this desk. I can touch the different surfaces, the different textures of cloth, the different textures of a simple water bottle. Because I remember the moment when I'm in rehab doing things to be better, right? So it shifted my mindset of there's always something to be grateful for. And again, being a positive person, it took it to another level. So you have to pull back, and some of the smallest things that we take for granted, allergies, right? People get allergies. Oh my gosh, now you're blinking and your eyes are burning. But do you think to stop and say wow, I'm really glad that I can blink my eyes and I don't have allergies today, right? Just be grateful for something as simple as that. It seems simple, but it's really powerful. And then if you start doing that and you start practicing that on a regular basis, everything that you do becomes like, wow, I'm really grateful for that. Oh, wow, I'm really grateful for that. I can feel the wind. That's kind of annoying. That piece of hair is really annoying, but oh my gosh, I can feel that breeze. Okay, keep annoying me then, because I love that breeze. So it shifts your mind, because you just start to look for things, and then like for me, it's just automatic. I mean, everything I do, everything I see, it's always something to be grateful for. When I take a drink, I am always grateful for that, because I remember a time when I couldn't swallow. I remember a time where I had all this stuff in me where I couldn't function, right? Because of the where I was from a health perspective. So to be able now to, and I'm not saying, hear me clearly, I'm not saying go through an illness to get to learn that, right? You don't have to do that. I'm just saying it enhanced my experience, enhanced my perception and perspective of what it means to be grateful.
Yeah. Just something, that what you're talking about, the gratitude and your mind frame and all those things through the challenge and journey you had to go through there. And I always like to let people know that our gratitude affects everything, even down to the cellular level. Doctors say that was a miracle. We have no answer why the recovery, the remission, whatever. But science is starting to show is that energy that gratitude creates in a positive state affects and makes your cells healthier, neurochemistry. And a lot of people foo-foo that, but the science is showing. So I believe your recovery and journey and success with that, you thank God and be grateful that we have Mayo Clinic and those type of things. But you had a lot to do with it. With what's going on in here and in your heart. And I think it's important for people to know that the gratitude goes beyond just, I'm happy I got a cup of coffee today. I'm happy that it's the 4th of July weekend. I'm happy. I'm grateful for this. But what does it really mean?
Right.
Why are you grateful? Why?
That's the question.
I love, and I love what Simon Sinek. You know who Simon Sinek is?
I don't think so.
I encourage anybody out there, anybody's in business or in sales or anything, is people don't care what you do and how you do it. If you're talking business, they really care about why you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you portray that. I can see why I know you're successful just those type of things. We're always seeking more, but you're putting out a positive vibration, just how you show up. And people sense that immediately. And that's that internal communication we got. So you are a delight. I could spend hours with you, Patricia, seriously, hours. And I look forward to the opportunity. I've just known you a couple hours, in our conversations. It's like, wow, I've known you forever.
Yeah.
I mean, just that, I don't know all the details of your life and all that type of thing. That's not important.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's going on here. And I hope the audience out there picks up. And if you're struggling, trying to find your way through whatever's going on, seek out help. There's, there's people out there that can guide you, be a sage for you, their story may be the difference. Oh, you did that, you went through that. Oh, that's a whole lot worse than I'm going through. So we come from the perspective. So you are a delightful woman. I'm glad I've met you.
Thank you. I likewise. It goes both. Just remember, it always goes both ways.
Thank you. I'm honored. And, I'd love to have you on anytime on G-Force, and we just ramble about something that is positive and uplifting and growing, and that, because you are gifted.
Thank you.
You're gifted, and you're a light. And I appreciate this opportunity. So you're bringing tears to my eyes. So.
I know, I'm deeply touched. So thank you.
Yeah. But what I like to do is, we thought 30 minutes. Here we are, almost an hour, right? So it's amazing how things go with this. But I would, I look forward to our working together with the Grow Life Academy and growing in that space. You're starting to see the dynamics and types of people that are there that are givers, that want to bring more value to the team and that. And so I look forward to our interaction, whatever that looks like in the future. Just being aware of having somebody with your dynamics in my life is important to me. You
Well,
made it.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. It's been lovely being on the show. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up. Anything else? Any parting statement or any parting thought that you would like?
The only parting thought is for people to just stop and listen to that inner voice and just be more mindful of more ways to be grateful, because it is power and it will change your life.
And then that can be still and know that I am. And you
Yes.
fill in the back, you're not here but be still and know. All the answers come, but most people do not. When you look at people that are growing and expanding, they have, like you've talked about, that quiet time, that ritual, that space to do that. When you see people that are doing extraordinary things in life, influencing people, that is one of the highest priorities, is be still, because the answers come.
Right.
Maybe not like the answers, but then you got to be willing to take it and put it to work. So I appreciate you much. I'm going to put you in my the green room, as we call it here. So, sounds a little Hollywoodish, but you've been a delight, and I'm gonna don't go away. I'm just gonna close out with a couple of announcements, and then we'll be back. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Wow. I knew when I met her that it would be a special interview. I had no agenda. She said a few things, and look what manifested. That's a gift. She brings a gift, and it's an honor that she wanted to come on my program. So a couple announcements. First thing I want to do is, be grateful for this weekend. It's not just another day off of work and all that. Really take some time to reflect what God has given us. And I believe that, our country, what we have, our forefathers, all those things, we got to have gratitude. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we have things to get better at in life? And then as a country, yes, we do. But God has given us a gift. And if we don't honor the gift and be grateful for it, study what we are grateful for, the liberty, the freedom, the opportunities we have, like no other place on the planet. Be grateful for this week. It's not just another day off of work. Take some time to reflect and be grateful for what we've been blessed with. So 4th of July weekend, have fun, be safe, and enjoy yourself, your family, and your community during this 4th of July weekend. Also, I want to make an announcement. There was no G-Force on Monday. No G-Force. We're honoring the holiday, and everybody's out there barbecuing hot dogs and brats here in Wisconsin. So just have a safe weekend. Moving forward, next Wednesday, again, G-Force, somewhere between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. I'm still trying to nail down that solid time. And then on Fridays, my intention is always have a guest coming in. I believe I have a couple guests already scheduled. I'll be making those announcements. And on the following Monday, Mark Gassert, which is part of the Grow Live Academy, and we put on a program called Elevate Your Profits, about business principles from mindset to the bank. We'll be resuming that the week after. So turn on your notifications, mark your calendars with that. So with that all said, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July weekend. Celebrate, have fun, and God bless America. We're signing out.